Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to the first of my new Simply Reviewed series that I'm going to be trying out here on my channel. I have been looking for ways to incorporate more frequent content, more reviews, and if you are familiar with my review style, a lot of them have very sort of elaborate scenes and setups here with props. They're very in-depth, they're a little bit longer, and not every scent I feel like requires that. I will still be doing that, so if you enjoy that, don't worry. Halloween, Christmas, all like the new releases and scents like that, I will definitely still be incorporating that on my channel. However, situations like this, where this is a candle I purchased, not necessarily intending to review, but I've burned it all the way down and I said, well, why not review it? These are going to be candles that maybe the scent is a little bit more straightforward and doesn't really require as much in-depth breakdown. Sense that maybe I don't really have anything prop-wise to kind of work with on the label, and I don't want to not review it just for the sake of not having a little scene to set up. So I figured these will be kind of simple sets, basically just using whatever setting I have on my table for that season. Maybe a prop or two thrown in here and there depending on the scent and what I have available, but a little bit more simplistic style, which does kind of keep with our Simply Scented Life theme here on this channel. So with that said, today I have a review here for you of Anjou Allspice. This is a country candle, part of Kringle Candles lineup. This line has been discontinued, as many of you know. So this candle, it is still available on their website, and these country candles are going in and out of sales very frequently. So I figured there is still some relevancy for this scent, especially if you're, shopping their sales and whatnot. I figured I will throw this information out there because, as you can see, I am almost done with this candle. Now, this scent has been around for a while. It actually was also in their Kringle tall jar style at one point. Several others had that overlap going on: Blueberry Muffin, Cozy Cabin, just to name a few. So this one, it feels like it would be easy enough to transition back into the Kringle lineup. Will it? I don't know. I still haven't gotten any sort of confirmation as to what scents they are looking to transition from Country Candle into the Kringle lineup once these are completely sold out. But it seems like it would fit. This is pretty straightforward as scents go, and I do think it's pretty well liked. It is, at its essence, a pear cider sort of scent, at least to me. We have notes here of top notes of pear and juniper, mid notes of pear and gin accord, and base notes of vanilla, cream, nutmeg, and allspice. The main thing to point out here with these notes is that they list pear twice, and that translates over to the fragrance, where this is a very pear-forward fragrance. The spice is really more mellow and to the background here. And if you think in terms of a pear cider, as I mentioned here, the pear note itself is very fresh and very juicy. Then you've got those spices here in line with those sort of mulling cider. I get a little bit of a cinnamon. I do get a little bit of that nutmeg here, but again, they're very tame here and mellow. The gin accord and the juniper here, I don't smell either one distinctly. However, the juniper might be lending to some of that sort of fresh quality about the pear, and the gin accord, I suspect, is maybe what's giving this a little bit more of that sort of drinkable cider quality to it. I don't know, but that's just my speculation. But again, it is not a boozy scent to me at all, if that concerns you. It's very much in line with a cider. The base notes here of vanilla and cream, I don't feel like they are a dominating presence either. I feel like really they add a little bit of sweetness and also add a little bit more of that cozy sort of warm feeling. The vanilla doesn't make this feel like a bakery pear, like a baked pear fragrance, but it does have a little bit of a creaminess to it. And just overall, this scent is just very warm, very inviting, very comforting, cozy sort of fragrance, and really nice because it's not heavy and it's not heavy on that spice. So it really is fitting, I feel like, for this time of year where you do want to sort of transition your home, transition your mindset into those more fall-like fragrances here. But you know, it's still a little bit warm here during the days. You have really cool nights and cool mornings, but it's still warm during the days. And this is kind of like a nice balance of that sort of warm and coziness, but you also have that fresh and brightness here with the pear. And for me, I feel like because it's such an inviting scent, I have been using this a lot in my entryway. That's the primary place I've been burning this because it just has that sort of, you know, want to sit down and stay for a while sort of feeling about it. As for the burn itself, I really had no issues with this one, but I do want to let you guys know, because I was not necessarily burning this with the intention to review, I did burn it mostly in a hurricane, which is kind of my standard practice here in my home. When I am burning for a specific review, I will usually omit the hurricane and just see how the candle does on its own merits. But for my own enjoyment, and because this was just sort of a regular scent for me, I did have it in a hurricane most of the time because I really feel like I get the best performance out of my candles when I do use one. So if you have one in your home, I definitely recommend it for these sort of soy candles that really like a little bit of heat. In the hurricane, the strength intensity, I would put somewhere in the ballpark of a 6 or a 7. It was a pretty solid medium. It was noticeable, but this is not a dominating, demanding your attention sort of fragrance. It's really more of an ambient sort of background scent that I was able to burn with other things going on in my home, and it didn't clash, and it just kind of added to the overall fall feeling, especially in the entryway here. And it did really well in that way. The throw, traveling a bit down the hallways, but again, not having a overly strong reach, but just kind of wafting around the space and, you know, making itself known every once in a while. Sometimes we're a little bit more strong than others, but overall a pretty consistent, solid kind of medium range. The actual burn, I had no wick issues whatsoever. If you notice, there is a little bit of soot accumulation around the top. This candle was not especially sooty. The soot that I accumulated has to do with the last few burns here. I don't know about you guys, but when I get towards the end of a large jar like this, especially if I've burned it all in one season, not like something I've carried over from last year, but this I started burning towards the end of August, and by this point now we're almost to the end. I am ready to move on to something else. As much as I've enjoyed this, I'm ready to move on. So over the last couple burns, I've gone a little bit longer on my time than I should. I'm not watching the wicks quite as much as I should. So that is where I started to get a little bit of accumulation up the top there. And really that is my own error. It was not doing it to that point. I just let it go a little bit too long a couple times. So, and again, not terrible by any means. I've certainly have had worse with shorter burns. So I am totally happy with what I've had in terms of performance here. And this is something that I would consider buying again. I do need a little bit of a break from it after burning for a large jar. So it's hard to think about buying it again right now. But I do know that I will be eyeing it if it goes on sale again in the future, because it really was a perfect sort of late August into September transition scent for me. So I hope that helps you out if you have your eye on it as well at some point on any of these sales. I'm not really sure how much remaining inventory they have of the country candles, but I do expect that we'll see some more sales, especially kind of as we get into the sort of end of the year time frame where you start seeing things going on sale a lot, Christmas shopping and all that. So I hope you liked this sort of simplistic style of review. Definitely feel free to leave any feedback or questions you may have in the comments, again, because I did try to keep this a little bit more condensed. So if there's something that I didn't mention that you are curious about, feel free to ask in the comments. And I want to thank you guys for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. We've got a lot more things coming up here on this channel. Guys, I am still waiting for my fall reserve shipping notice. I'm hoping today's the day, and then maybe a day to get here, and then hopefully by the end of the week, maybe I'll have something for you guys for fall reserve. But I am not slacking. I still have been waiting on shipping. I know the Labor Day sale got shipping a little bit overwhelmed. So that's where we're at here on this channel. And I want to thank you guys again. I hope you have a great rest of your day.